What's up, guys? It's me and my co-host Ant here with the Last Lap podcast. We've got episode 4. We're going to go over our card this weekend. What is it? Kai Car France headlines against
Albazi.
Albazi. And that's actually a really good fight. This card has gone under like a ton of just changes. I'm honestly surprised that they managed to keep it together with how many cancellations for fights they had. Because even as far as last night, even the UFC website it was just of 10 fights, it was 6 of them just had canceled lettered next to them. And you're like, I don't even know how they fucking saved this card. So definitely some stuff to go over. We've got some spiciness with some of the people on the card, particularly in their personal lives, because it wouldn't be a good podcast unless we were super nosy and speculate on lives that aren't ours. So
yeah, that's some crazy shit.
Right. So, Ant, how are you doing first and foremost? You having a good week?
Yeah, I'm all right. Long day, but
yeah, it's hard out there for a pimp right now. Shit, dude. Week's been great for me. You know what I've realized becoming a stay-at-home stepdad?
What's that?
Is that I didn't realize that girls sing so much. It's crazy. Adriana will come home from 2:30 until 7, and it's hey Google, play today's top hits.
Oh geez.
Every day, and it's just a sing along. If I hear Sam Smith one more time, I'm gonna hunt him down. I might just
a nice karaoke fest.
Just for days, and she hasn't, for lack of a better way of saying it, she hasn't quite found her tune yet, if that makes sense.
Relatable.
So I'm just sitting here looking at
someone who sings in the car by myself a lot.
That's that's fine. That's acceptable. That's acceptable. In a common living space, though, I feel like it should be addressed that 4 hours is the cap. That's probably it.
4 hours
is enough, dude. That's too
better man than me.
But anyway, just before we dive into the card today, because we're nerds and that's what we do, we talk about nerdy stuff. Me and Ant particularly, and if you've ever actually been a fan of me or noticed that all of my tattoos are normally anime characters or comic book characters. The anime community has been eating lately, just in the last year, with things like Hell's Paradise. One Piece has gotten crazy as far as its animation. Attack on Titan is still going. It will go until we all die, as long as it makes money. But Mappa's been killing it. And then there's obviously Jujutsu Kaisen and things like that. My Hero has also been great. I'm not sure if they're going to wrap that up in the next season. Demon Slayer 2, Ufotable, just the budgets for anime, just in animation, has been crazy. So if I could we came up in the big 3 era, right? That's our era. If we really think we're the old gen guys.
Now let's get this out of the way. The big 3.
The big 3. Yes. Okay. So this is a big debate in the anime community, especially among the new people. You know what I mean? The younger fans or the Gen Z or whatever generation it is now, fans that have just kind of gotten into it as anime has gotten mainstream, and they think that the big 3 is any anime that's popular, any 3 animes that are popular at that time, and that's really just not the case, right? And it was the big 3 will and always will be Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach, because those were the 3 highest grossing manga and anime in the world at one point. That was the original big 3, if I'm correct. Is there any other part of that I don't know?
No.
So that's the era.
A lot of people like to put Dragon Ball into that equation and take out Bleach and Ichigo, but
really, I always considered that. Yeah, I always considered that DBZ wasn't ever a part of that. You know what I mean? I always thought it was those because DBZ is its own entity. Do you know what I mean? At the time when these 3 other ones came out, they weren't as popular as DBZ. They could stand alone. DBZ was at a shelf of its own, and that was when Z came out, when it was good still.
I still think it is in a league of its own, but
I mean, naturally, I'm talking as far as marketing and gross revenue. Nobody's going to touch, other than maybe Pokemon. You know what I mean? But that's nothing's gonna touch the DBZ forever until it's completely done. And even after it dies, it'll be like Michael Jackson. Its album sales will go through the fucking roof. You know what I mean? So, but if so, leading into that, right, or going into that, if there were to be a new big three, because there's a bunch of new anime that have huge fan bases.
It would be Jujutsu, it would be Demon Slayer, and it would be My Hero. That would be my picks for.
A lot of people would argue Black Clover's in there.
I just don't.
Have you ever watched Black Clover?
So I have, but the way I look at it is too, like, not only like of how popular it is, but like where the merchandising is. Like, as someone who clearly wears a lot of anime merch, when I see stuff in large quantities at even your most basic of like stores that you would see in the mall chain stores, a Hot Topic, stuff like that, that shows me how popular it is.
And Jujutsu Kaisen's everywhere as far as gear goes,
right?
My Hero and
Gojo,
My Hero and
everywhere.
Right
you got My Hero everywhere, and you got Tanjiro and fucking Nezuko everywhere. So like those to me in this current generation would probably be like the big three, the big three anime, the big ones. I mean, it's, you can maybe argue Black Clover, but Black
Clover's Wizard Naruto, dude. That's all it is. And like I've been saying that to you for a really long time, like just privately. But like I don't know if you've seen any of the newer stuff that's come up with it in the manga. Now I don't really keep up with the manga too much, but I keep up with it enough because there was a point where I watched Black Clover for one character. Because when I watch shows or when I argue about them in those groups that I have, I don't want to argue about a character that I don't know anything about. You know what I mean? And like a lot of people will take just random panels and then just start saying shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll take a panel and then take it out of context without actually reading the lead up to that panel and then try and create a feat or a scale from it. And so like when I watch these shows, like Julius, I don't know if you know who that is, the Wizard King in that fucking show. Basically, he's OP as hell. Like he's broken as fuck. He has time magic and like all this extra shit that he does. But the point is that they were putting him against Naruto. You know what I mean? Like they were putting Julie, and like I'm like, okay, so to scale, I need to watch that, bro. Oh my god! Obviously, Asta is a fucking is Wizard Naruto. That's it. You know, he's got a demon inside him. He's abandoned as an orphan. Do you know what I mean? His best friend is going to be the Wizard King that's from some special tribe. You know what I mean? And people will deny it. But even in the most recent like chapters of it, they have like their Kakashi in the show comes from, listen to this, he comes from a faraway clan, right? Where his brother massacred his entire clan.
Nice, dude. Nice. Classic. That's a classic one right there. I mean, hey, he does it. And then I almost just gave away a spoiler. Ooh,
this clan of people also have pinwheel eye ocular powers.
Oh, I did see some.
That's plagiarism, man.
I do
That's
remember
straight
that.
up plagiarism.
Yeah.
Like
I saw that.
I
saw that. It's a Sharingan.
That's a Sharingan, dude. Like and you'll see people online will go, no, it's Japanese folklore.
Yeah,
and I'm
like,
dude, I have not seen the pinwheel. Like the pinwheel is a Japanese thing. I get that, but pinwheel eyes with ocular strength is specific to one thing, and you stole it. You stole Itachi's entire storyline and just like flipped who did what around a little bit, and that was it. And you called it a day, and people are like, "This is great fiction." I'm like, "Are we kidding me? We had 720 fucking chapters of this. This is crazy." And you'll argue with them, and they're not hearing it.
Kishimoto's over there looking around like
like John Travolta. You know what I mean? Like,
what is going on here, bro?
Like, joke to you guys? What the fuck, dude?
I've seen this one before.
So like, I get like different mangakas. Like you'll see like Kishimoto and Oda. They'll like on their like covers. Little odes to each other. Yeah. Luffy's worn an Akatsuki robe. You know what I mean? And shit like that.
That's cool.
That's
nice little nods.
Those are nice. Like even in like I'll give like in One Piece.
Don't bite my whole shit.
Yeah, you know how like Sasuke wears that bow, you know, like the purple like bow thing. There's a goofy ninja character in One Piece that wears that same outfit that Sasuke does. Those are little nods to that. You know what I mean? Those are not, but to completely just be like, oh, this is a good idea. I'm gonna fucking copy and paste that and like put a different kind of drawing in front. It's fucking wild to me. I'll never understand it. I really just don't. And like with new anime fans, you're like, I can't. You can't have logic with fucking anything. You really can't. And like, the last thing I'll talk about with anime fans recently, or just everybody's eating, but like, do you remember when stories used to be good, and that's when like that's why people liked them? Do you know what I mean? Like that's like people like this story is crazy, and like the twists are great, and like the reason Attack on Titan's good is because it has great twists, and like the character development is good and shit like that, right? So it, like even. But everybody's power scaling and like who solos. If you've ever listened to any forum, it's Ichigo solos this,
Absolutely.
or Luffy solos this,
or this person beats that person, and it's
dude,
like whether it's like viable or the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard of, just to troll.
The
it is what it is, man.
They're so
Once
crazy.
Something gets popular enough, people just want to say the most wild, outlandish shit, no matter what it entails, no matter.
Have you seen the
valid or not?
The physicists that go on these fucking forums and they start trying to put in like applicable science to like planetary level feats.
2 times the speed of sound, and he also knocked down this mountain, which would take 72,000 metric tons of pressure, which calculating that by like the direction of the sunlight.
And you're looking at all these people that do it,
busting the moon. Like, what?
And you're like, bro, how, if you can apply this knowledge and it's correct at all, if it's correct, why aren't you changing the world? You know what I mean? Like why do you know that? And you're on this forum talking about if Naruto needed help blowing up the moon. You know what I mean? Like that's.
And now you're doing trigonometry and astronomical physics and shit like that.
But you work at like Chili's. You know what I mean? Like that's what you do. And out your spare time. Hey man, bring back those commercials. The anime community is crazy. The big three. Okay, so last thing, and this one doesn't have to do, and then we'll move on to what we're talking about for the card. If you could put a fighter, if you could, so name your three right now. Your 3 current favorite fighters.
All right. Well. We'll take you.
So the idea we're doing here is that I want you to pick your 3 favorite fighters, and then I want you to compare
in MMA.
Them. Yes.
Okay.
In MMA, and then I want you to compare them to who they would be in any given anime.
Ooh, that's interesting.
What kind of, maybe it could come down to how they fight, their personality, all those things. It could be any of that. Any of those factors could go in. So give me 3, and then you could say this person's like whoever. You know?
Wow, that's tough. I mean,
right?
That's a great question. I might need a second to really think of that, because like to really trudge out my top 3 favorite fighters, like active fighters right now, is even tricky in itself. Like I would say Aljo's probably like my favorite active fighter.
I'm gonna answer that one for you. You've loved Aljo for years. Yes. I will honestly I will give you credit that you were an Aljo fan before anybody was really even new.
And I'll be quite honest. Like it was just the swag and the big chain. That was really what
I know it was. I
dig this guy.
You know what it was?
And then like obviously aside from the Marlon fight, like he was pretty much smacking everybody around too. So like obviously that helped early.
You got to give the guy his flowers eventually. You know what I mean? Like he just beat Henry Cejudo. You know what I mean? Like and like
close, but hey.
But he won. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, I get that his title reign has been crazy. You know what I mean? Like it's been funky and history will look on it weird. But he did beat this guy. And he beat Jan. You know what I mean? You gotta give him his flowers eventually, man. Like whether you liked how he got the title or not.
And especially, I mean, I'm gonna say when, but we'll say for argument's sake, if he beats Sean O'Malley, like what are people gonna say then? You know what I mean? What is the excuse?
Well, who else is there? Cheeto?
No.
You know what I mean? And Cheeto didn't look great.
You go up to 45 at that point and try your hand there. I would think. I mean,
but anyway, going back to that. So if you were to give Funkmaster, let's just go one at a time before we do the list, right? So if you were going to, Funkmaster, who would you give him in anime? If you were to put him in, and just, generally any, you know what? I'm actually going to think about this too for a second. Let's see.
Wow, dude, that's
I immediately thought of a JoJo character.
Interesting.
Let's see.
You know what?
That's a tough one, Funkmaster.
You know what? Since every time
I'm getting a
funk,
Bleach vibe.
and well, no, anytime I hear funk and I think of anime character, I think of Killer Bee.
I knew you were gonna say it. So you're gonna give Aljo Killer Bee? Let's go.
That's what I think. And he's so unorthodox and strange in his ways of fighting too, with the way that
that's
he
true
uses
because the
those
9
blades.
sword style. That's not a bad pick. That's not a bad pick. Oh shit.
And that's just off time. Right. I mean, if so I really like want to sit there.
So I'll say TJ Dillashaw and
Orochimaru.
I was gonna say Sasuke because he's a whiny little bitch.
I was gonna say because he's a snake, but I guess you could
say because he's a whiny little bitch. And if I just must be an objective, he used borrowed power. So, the Orochimaru stain is kind of like that EPO stain.
Yeah,
he's got
and the
on
snake
him.
all in one,
and the snake thing all in one thing. So TJ Dillashaw is like Sasuke Uchiha.
Nice,
and that could be a bad and a good thing. He's very skilled, but not a lot of people like him very much. so there's that. Let's do one more. We'll do one more. Just so.
All right.
My other favorite. Who do I really love to watch? Oh God, there's so fucking many, dude. There's so many. And
like after Aljo, like it's like kind of
just like even it's like a blur. Honestly, I do love watching Piotr Jan, but I'm trying to get away from that. I'll go.
I know who's next for me.
Go ahead,
I'm a little more upset with myself that I didn't really say this. I would, but then again, they're almost like. So I'm gonna say Max Holloway would be my next favorite fighter.
And who would you put
active fighter?
Okay.
That's another very
speedy,
strange
anime fit.
Yeah. Where does my mind instantly go?
He likes Demon Slayer. Actually, Max is actually a big anime fan. I don't know if you've seen.
Like I was, him. It's fun. Yeah, I have seen him.
He actually hit him and his wife and his kid in those fits.
And it's funny, like he was in the Tanjiro fit, but like I would more kind of think of him as more of a Rengoku if I were to
really
Goku. Because he can't be Tanjiro because he's not a little whiny.
I would have put him as Akaza.
Bitch. It's just like he's always energetic. He's usually always like happy, uplifting, like even in what seemed to be like his worst times, like he's always just kind of like trying to like think of the
smiles in the face of adversity a lot.
Right. And that's kind of like the vibe that I get from Rengoku. And with him being a Demon Slayer fan, as you said, I'll go with that. I get a nice little Rengoku vibe, and that's mostly from just like the personality standpoint, not necessarily from his fighting style.
You know, for pure fighting style, I dig what you said, and we'll just end it here and we'll move on. But I think that Red Goku's good. That's a good explanation. I would say Akaza just because his hands, that speed, like you know what I mean. You know that stance. I don't know what it's called quite yet, but that stance that he's got with the front, and he just starts unloading. You know what I mean? It kind of reminds me of the Ricardo Lamas fight. Do you know what I mean? Where he's like here and he just plants his feet and just starts going. You know what I mean? And that was kind of indicative of the Rengoku fight when Akaza just goes, "Word, let's just sit here and scrap." And so I think those are both Demon Slayer, but definitely good. All right. Well, Max Holloway, you're a good guy with some badass intentions in hand. So that was good. So all right.
Facts.
So that's that was a good little run-in. So Anime 2023 is fucking killing it. You know what I mean? If you haven't gotten on the train yet, then stop being a fucking loser. You know, you're being weird. Just
if we do gatekeep a little bit,
we do. Well, I mean, that's true. The whole community, we gatekeep quite a bit. But
we do a little bit.
You know,
the OGs and anything will gatekeep a little bit.
Forever, dude.
Hip hop, movies, everything. MMA,
hip hop especially.
But, everybody's at sports. People gatekeep.
Dude, get hip. You know what I mean? If you're not watching anime, dude,
that's a fact.
Figure it out. You know what I mean? Grow the fuck up. And I know I never thought that I would say that. You know what I mean? Who says grow up and watch anime? But like, dude, you're weird if you don't do it. Anyway, moving on. 20 minutes in, we've talked about anime for 20 minutes. So let's move on to the card at hand. I think we'll just start from the prelims. We'll just go from a couple of prelims and we'll go up the card, I think. Andrei Arlovsky versus Don'Tale Mayes.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get into that. Andrei Arlovsky has, I think he got signed in 98 or 99. I believe
it has been a long ass time.
And it's 2023 and he is still fighting. Maybe he's not fighting in the top 10. Is he? Hold on. Let me look at that real quick.
No.
There's no number next to his name. So he's still not in the top 15. But for him to be anybody that lasts at heavyweight, what did I say? Hold on. There was another guy a few weeks ago that we talked about, 2 weeks ago in the last episode. I forget who it was, but when we were talking about the betting odds, I said this guy has been a heavyweight in the UFC for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like he has been an active and a roster member in a very hard division to stay in for 10 years. That should speak for something. You know what I mean? Even if the other guy is favorited and then that guy with the experience had won. You know what I mean? Like the guy that I was talking about ended up taking the W in like a pretty convincing fashion. I'm actually pretty sure I watched it. And Andre doubles that time, bro. Like he's almost been in the UFC for as long as it's been conceived. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
He's got almost 60 fights.
That's nutty. You know what I mean? As a heavyweight. How is this guy's brain not
Jesus, mush? He's got, this will be what, 20? This will actually be his 50th UFC fight? Holy shit. 50? Wait a minute. Am I doing that math right? No, this will be his 40th UFC fight. I'm sorry.
That's 10 off, but that's still a lot. That's a lot of fights. Wait a minute. Does somebody have more fights than him in the UFC? That's got to be hard.
Actually, you know what? Jim Miller, who's also on the card, might have more UFC fights than him. He does. He has 41. Jim Miller.
That's crazy.
Jim Miller's fought his whole pro career, albeit one fight in the UFC.
That's crazy. Well, the former heavyweight champion is going up against not a newcomer, but definitely not somebody that you'd hear about normally. In Don'Tale Mayes, or Lord Kong, as they call him. Not King Kong, Lord Kong. He hasn't quite made it to King Kong yet, but he's working his way up the Kong monarchy real fast. So, you know what I mean? He's doing it right, doing it the right way, not skipping any steps. But his last Don'Tale is coming off of a loss to Augusto Sakai, which, you know, I don't hate that. You know what I mean? Like that's not a bad guy to lose to. I don't think.
I mean,
you know,
Sakai.
Although Sakai's been kind of a flop himself.
Yeah, he was coming off a couple of tough losses. He was on a tear, but that was him coming back off a couple knockouts. So,
and then his last fight before that was against, and I'm gonna just say this. I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher this name.
Yes,
Hamdi Abdelwahab. Sure. And it was a no contest split. So in his last 3 fights, it's been a loss, a no contest, and a win. So this guy, you know, I don't know. I don't know if maybe they're giving, you know, just Arlovsky just the toss up because he's been around so long. But this doesn't seem like something that he would have issue with. You know what I mean? Like even though he's been in a ton of wars from his last performances, I don't think that he's like, I don't know. He's been around a while, but it doesn't look like he's like desperately needs a win or, you know what I mean? I don't know. I could be wrong, but 9-5 against shit. You know what I mean? Like
a lot of fights, but you got to think with a lot of fights,
34-21,
a lot of wear and tear on the body. You know,
true.
And he has, you know, although he's gone on a little streak. Arlovsky, albeit that last loss, you know, a couple of those decisions. I especially remember that Jake Collier one was a bit.
Yeah, it was a bad call.
Me, you know, so maybe he's been gifted a couple of good decisions. Maybe, you know, he's had a couple on the early end of his career that didn't go his way. But I kind of think this might be a bit of a toughie for Andre.
Wow, he's actually not the favorite.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. It's probably not. Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably not anything wild, but it's kind of a toss up to me. I think whereas Andre has been seen to kind of get chinny, he's been dropped, but then he kind of gets back up and finds his way to like, back to the cage or circles around and kind of gets away from. He has no problem just kind of like dipping out and just getting away.
Yeah.
Right. Versus trying to make something happen right then and there, try to scramble, trying to get a takedown, something like that, or just trying to hang in the pocket with someone and make it exciting. He has no problem back. Like you said, he has nothing to prove. Like
nothing.
He
at
doesn't
all.
have to sit in there and bang.
No.
But
that's just
with that being said, like Dontail, he does have like a kickboxing background. Like he does have some power in his pop. So I think Andre could win, and I would take Andre. Like, if I were to pick one, I'm gonna pick Andre, but I'm not like I wouldn't bet on it. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I would probably honestly I would stay away from that as far as a betting. The betting line
like,
is 105, like Andre plus 105 to Dontail is minus 125. So it's a pick 'em. If you put $10 on it, you're not really gonna get shit for it either way. That's just a bet that I'd just stay away from. You know what I mean? All the reasons you listed, wear and tear, all that extra shit, the chinny stuff, and again, overtime. But again, 9-5 is tough. I don't know. The heavyweight division is interesting because you'll find a bunch of people with records like that up there because the division's so thin that you can be 8-7 and then they'll be in there. Right. All right. Well, I've got Arlovsky in that one. I'm not really sure. I think I watched Dontail Mays' last win, and that was the crucifix elbows.
Yeah, that's the last. That's the only fight I can recall from him, and that's just because it was a pretty good knockout. So yeah, it was cool. You don't see crucifix knockouts, but I've got Andre in that one. I don't know how much longer we have with Andre, so it's very possible that all of the next fights that he have, every fight that is the next fight could be the last fight. Right. So whether he's fighting a guy that's maybe not as experienced or not to the caliber that he has been over the years, it's just nice to see the guy still going and like, you know what I mean? I grew up with the guy, you know what I mean? Absolutely. And again, it's been around since the sport's almost been conceived, you know what I mean? So like, if it is close to time for Andre Arlovsky, I really do hope that they give that man his flowers because he fucking carried the company at one point. So they have to. So they have to. If he's not in like a Hall of Fame pioneer wing, you know what I mean? He's got to be in the pioneer wing. For sure, gonna be a Hall of Famer. Because a first ballot. You know what I mean? But like, do they put him in the pioneer ring or they just? Because you know what I mean? There's like different wings of. Right, you put him in any wing you want, and you should probably deserve it. You know. Absolutely. But okay, moving on. Next prelim, probably the only other prelim, and it's only because I love his name. Jamie Malarkey versus Muhammadjan Naimov. Pardon me. Malarkey coming in as the underdog here at plus 270 to the minus 325 towards Naimov. What do we think about this one? Do we know much about Muhammadjan? I'll be honest. I don't really know much about him. Mm-hmm. Hold on. So I'm looking up he's got 3.5 significant strikes per minute. Let's see. His striking accuracy is about a 50% striking accuracy. Let's see. Win by method. Oh, this is his debut. This is his debut for sure. So let me just because Malarkey is supposed to fight Kutateladze, and I was actually kind of excited about that. I thought that was going to be kind of a banger. But yeah, I don't know much about this guy. Let's get it done. Let's get it done real quick because obviously I want to. Well, you know what the thing is that I had a bunch of notes for this card, and then it all changed immediately, like in every facet and form. You know what I mean? Like the whole infrastructure of this card changed. All right, so we got an 8-2 guy. His last win came by head kick and punches. I've never seen that. Oh, this is a Vegas guy. So he's from a Tough Enough. Let's see. Yeah, he's been on the Contender Series. He lost at the Contender Series in 2020. He's on a 3-fight win streak. Nobody that I've really ever heard of that he's got. So definitely a debut fighter. Mm-hmm. Most of his fights are not very often that do they go to the decision, I would say. And if it does, he loses normally. His only losses are decisions, and I think all but one of his But one of his wins, it looks like, are finishes. So
Our finishes, yeah.
yeah,
So
I mean,
yeah.
if he's a guy,
So a finisher for sure.
and I mean, Malarkey's the right type of guy that wants to fight that fight.
Malarkey is the ugliest guy with the best name and the greatest attitude I've ever seen. He's quite literally a Frankenstein. Like if Frankenstein were a dude, but well fleshed out together, this is what this guy would look like. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever seen early Neanderthals' eyebrows?
Oof.
You know what I mean?
Yikes.
It's tough.
Those Super Saiyan 3 eyebrows.
Fucking just out here, you know. But the guy can fight. Like, I know that I'm saying
exciting
a bunch of shit. Like, he's ugly as sin, but this guy knows that. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way that's, you know,
damn.
When his wife calls him handsome, he's like, "Don't patronize me." You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. All right, I'm being fucked up because Jamie Malarkey's actually a really cool dude and like a gamer for sure. Thing I'm worried about is kind of what you said off camera or off mic was he gets rocked. You know what I mean? Like he's gotten he'll get caught in the fire a little bit, and according to at least Tapology and what we've seen from the results of this debuter, this is a dangerous guy to do that with. You know what I mean? So you know, and it's like, and let me just go back to his opponent's records, Muhammad Jan. You know, so his last so maybe we've got some bad ones. You know what I mean? Every fighter has shitty opponents occasionally. But his good week's got wins against guys that are 10-3.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his record when he was fighting them too, I mean, you know,
he fought to his level at the very least.
4-0, 4-1, you know.
But the ones that concern me here, right, are these two, Oliver Murad and Colin Anglin, is when he lost, and he was 5-0 and 5-1. They were the two that he lost in a row, and that was to the Contender Series and Titan FC. So these are the two guys, an undefeated guy and a 7-1 guy, and that's where he got taken into deep water and ended up losing to unanimous decisions. So I guess it might be like that old formula that I hate where like boxers do that, but it's different in MMA where they try and fight bums for a little bit or fight like a little bit below their level. And then they try and jump up. And it seemed like when he jumped up, it didn't work. You know what I mean? Because then eventually, right after that, he goes to those two losses. He goes to a guy that's 5-6. You know what I mean? I would imagine that's for a confidence boost. And then he went back to 10-2, but his last fight was against a guy that was 4-3.
Yeah.
You know, so like inconsistencies with competition there. Jamie Malarkey is definitely a high level guy and can finish you at any point.
Yeah, game as hell too.
That dude will lose his teeth in his mouth guard how hard he bites down on it. So like
exciting guy.
That's an interesting one. You know what I mean? For like a pick'em. That's not really a pick'em. And you know what the thing is that how is this, and this guy is the favorite.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's weird to me.
I'm not entirely certain that those odds actually
exist, but
I don't think they updated to the opponent switch because
that could be
this must have happened, like the opponent switch. I mean, maybe I must have missed something like yesterday, but like that had to have happened within the last 48 hours.
Because for him to be a minus 325 favorite, this guy for the level of opponent that he's
because I think that's if I remember correctly, again, I think that's kind of what what his odds were against Kutateladze,
the other guy as well.
Where so he was a dog, and I was like, ooh, that's
crazy. That's good money. That might be a good money. You know what I mean? Like put a little money on Jamie Malarkey. I would imagine that Malarkey is probably, if that's the case, then he's probably switched over to the favorite,
or at least, or it's like a pick'em, maybe like
maybe. I don't see how it could be a pick'em though. Look at their resumes. Do you know what I mean? Like I just don't. I'm not a bettor. I don't know how they make odds. I don't know how they're made. But we can assume that whatever we see right now until like the night of the fight is probably going to change a bunch because
I would imagine. I would definitely imagine.
I'm going Jamie here just because like
Jamie.
You're too inconsistent. It seems like when you get met, this guy, when you like, I don't know, there's a psychology of how people fight for me. And you know what I mean? You can see how people think in the opponents that they pick. You know what I mean? So like, if you fight a 10-1 guy, you're feeling confident. But if you don't feel confident in your own ability, you go to like a shittier guy, which, you know what I mean? It just shows kind of a mental lapse in your belief in yourself. And so like, I don't think Jamie's like that at all. I think that if he wins or loses, Buddy is going to fight you. No matter what. You know what I mean? I feel like this guy picked him a little bit. I'm going to go Jamie. just because he's the monster that I know.
Yeah, I was just saying, and it just off the strength of knowing him, like, with all due respect to his opponent, it's, he's debuting, from an area I'm not particularly familiar with. So
yeah, neither am I. He's from Tajikistan.
Yeah,
Tajikistan. I've never heard of that country, and maybe I'm just a weird American guy that. You know what I mean? But and that's what people will say to me. They'll be like, "You're blue Americans." Like, dude, if you're from England, you can't point me where Tajikistan is right now on a fucking globe immediately. And I want to see you spin it and fucking point it right there. That's what I want to see. Like,
who has a globe anymore?
That's a great point. It's all just like everybody just goes to Google Maps.
Yeah, I was just saying, let me look it up on my phone. Yeah,
right quick. Where is Tajikistan?
I'll tell you in 5 seconds where it is.
Yeah, dude, it's in the Barents Sea, or some shit like that. Well, okay. Well, Mr. Malarkey, have fun with that. I hope that you actually, hope Buddy doesn't pick, torches and pitchforks and comes after you and ruins your night. Moving on. Okay. Oh, dear God. Have you seen? Look at the first fight of the main card. Oh, pardon me. No. There were some. Am I on the main card here? I am. Okay, because that was our featured prelim. The first. Anybody with Nurmagomedov in their last name is obviously a murderer. Again, two names I'm gonna fuck up.
Abubakar
Nurmagomedov.
Abubakar.
You practice.
I think it's Abubakar.
Abubakar? No,
yeah.
Dude, you sounded good in the first one. What was it? Abubakar?
Yeah.
Whatever,
one
dude.
Of the two.
Come on, baby. That's crazy. Versus Elitsu dos Santos from Brazil. This is a pick'em fight according to the odds. I don't know. Dos Santos is coming off of Dos Santos. Oh, pardon me. I'm messing all this up. Hold on. Elitsu. There we go. He is 23-7 here. Let's see what he comes up with on his last fight. The UFC thing's not telling me right now. 2 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Coming off a
decision win.
Decision win. Oh, he's had a few canceled bouts. He hasn't fought since 2021. He's on a 2-year layoff. Benoit Saint Denis. That's actually a pretty good win. I'd say. Like after that, before that, he lost a split to Muslim Salikov. So he's very streaky, this guy. 1 win, 1 loss, 1 win, 1 loss. Bunch of canceled fight. He was scheduled to fight Shavkat in 2020. Yeah. Well, I figured everybody knows who that is, but yeah, he hasn't fought in 2 years now. He did a grappling event that was canceled as well. So 2-year layoff, definitely something to think of. Abubakar Nurmagomedov, I believe he fought recently. There it was. Let's see. Well, who's he coming off of? A win against, I believe he won his last fight. I could be wrong there. He is coming off of a win. This is another guy who's got a lot of kinds of fights as well. They both have 2-year. Oh no, he fought last year. Where are these names, my man? Where are you from?
I was waiting for you just so you would try to pronounce.
Wow, dude.
I didn't want to say anything out loud. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna wait for Jay to get there, and I'm gonna wait for him to pronounce this name too. He's been doing such a fantastic job.
I know, dude. I'm gonna get an award for this one. Godzi Omar Godziev. That's what I'm going to go. Omar Godziev. That's what
Amargajev?
Sure.
Amargajev.
Jeff, we'll go with that. I apologize to all of the Eastern European people that I ruined their names or whoever. Yeah. But he fought last on the Oliveira versus Makachev card, which is about a year ago. Not kind of a layoff, but I do remember that fight. He did look pretty good there. I'm pretty sure he just rolled that guy, if I'm honest, the whole time. I'm gonna go with him because he's the guy I know really. 2-year layoff is a lot. That's a lot, especially canceled bouts. Do you know what I mean? And like for canceled bouts for me, like what that means is that you kind of went through a camp.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? and you put
Yeah.
wear and tear on yourself, and then the fight got canceled. Do you know what I mean? And having a 2-year layoff of that puts shit on your body, man. That's fucking
Yeah. I
tough to
mean,
do that.
he was on a good run before kind of that. I don't remember. He hook kicked Sean Strickland.
He did do that.
So I mean, he's a very interesting striker. I mean, again, like you said,
Oh,
anybody.
you mean Abu Bakar?
No.
Abu Bakar?
No.
Oh, Dos Santos is what you're saying.
Yes.
He did spin. Okay, so I'm sitting there like when you're like he spin kicked him.
He
Like, this
spin
motherfucker's
kicked.
never spun kicked in his life. Sean.
Sean Strickland. I'm probably gonna as well lean with you.
Just you know, like he's got some good wins. Elisa does. But you know, I don't see him having the. Both of these guys were scheduled to fight fucking pretty good guys. Like
it depends on where the fight goes. If the fight stays standing up, I actually like Elisa's chances there.
Yep.
Especially because he's a bit of a crafty striker. But I mean, again, the Nurmagomedov
Dagestani wrestling, baby. You know what I mean? That shit is that Dagestani dynasty is coming. You know, so I'm gonna just go with the. I don't think that Nurmagomedov is gonna play that game. None of them do. Even Umar. You know what I mean? Even Umar doesn't. He's gonna go for the legs or the clinch or body lock. Take this motherfucker down and just ride him out. The question remains as to how Dos Santos' ground game is. I'm not sure how many submissions he has. But like there's got to be a solution for this.
All of yeah, he's only got a couple subs. Most of his finishes are TKOs, KOs.
So I'm gonna go with the grappler.
Hook kicks, you know.
I'm gonna go with the grappler here. As much as like you know,
it's tough to go. It's tough to go against a good grappler that can really set up his takedowns and close the distance at least to a extent where he can get it to the ground. You don't gotta be a crazy boxer, but if you can get in there and get you to
all
the
they
ground,
need to do is get close.
That's all you need to do is get someone to the ground.
If they can grab your leg on a single, dude, that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? Like people don't get is that like Dagestani wrestling or like Russian wrestling, Eastern European wrestling, and American wrestling are fucking totally different, and like how they prepare. So like people see all these videos of like Khabib and all those those Dagestani people that train together are always drenched in sweat, and like they must think that they're going hard, like super hard for like hours and hours, when actually they're drilling. They drill. All they do, like think about how like Thais spar. You know what I mean? Like they're real slow. They're just trying to get their technique and their like timing down. It's kind of the same thing with like that kind of wrestling, in that they want to get the movement so like hammered into your muscles that it doesn't matter fast, slow, when it's happening. When you get this, you're going to know how to get this person to the ground. That's why in any situation, whenever Khabib got anybody in anything, whatever they threw at him, it didn't matter. He was going to finish that technique. American wrestling is go, 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 go as hard as you can the whole time. That's why you'll see the difference between Michael Chandler's wrestling and Khabib's. They're very different. You know what I mean? Like you don't see Khabib touching his knee to the ground like that. You know what I mean? Like they don't do shit like that. And so it's just like these guys spend 5 hours a day drilling the same fucking single leg over and over and over. And like, even if it's slow, dude, you know what I mean? They're going to get it. So these type of people that just grab your leg, all they need to do is grab your leg and hold on to it for a couple of seconds, and that shit is over. So like there has to be somebody that comes along that becomes the antithesis to this. You know what I mean? Like we all thought it would be Charles Oliveira. It fucking was not. You know what I mean? Like we thought that the jiu-jitsu would get there. So like this style of wrestling has literally changed the game of MMA and like how it's approached in a lot of ways. Because even though the UFC like puts out that they want strikers, the rule set works for grapplers fucking real well. You know what I mean? And so like these guys play the game fucking super duper well.
I think like
you know what I mean?
Most of the champions right now, if they're not primarily a grappler or have a primarily grappling base, like they at least are very high level
hard takedown
wrestlers, jiu-jitsu guys, Like, I mean, you think of you got Islam.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Islam, Khabib. There's Umar Nurmagomedov, I believe. Is that Bellator, or am I thinking of? Is Umar the 55 champ of who's the 35er I'm thinking of? Is it Umar?
I believe it is Umar.
There must be two Umars then. Because isn't there a Nurmagomedov in Bellator as well? He's a 55 champ.
Yeah.
Is it also Umar?
Let me see here. No, Umar is definitely the 35er in the UFC.
Okay. Yeah.
There's so many damn Nurmagomedovs.
He's the closest thing to a full mixed martial artist that regime has come to. Well, that's not true. The Bellator guy is very impressive. Honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. I would put the Bellator. He's the first striker with the name Nurmagomedov that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
This guy. And he's very good. I would put the 55 champ currently at Bellator. Maybe not in the top 5, but I'd put him in the top 15 of UFC immediately. Like, he's very good.
I mean, you even got guys like Marab, who's just like an absolute, just like workhorse.
Dude, that guy never stops. You gotta
just like grappling, right? Exactly.
He's just gonna come forward. It's just pressure, and I'm gonna get
a
you.
lot of these guys that seem to be busting through the rankings, and a lot of these, big name fighters are wrestlers, it seems, or high output grapplers.
Exactly, high output grapplers. I like that term. Like people that can chain wrestlers.
Yeah, I was gonna say like people that are just gonna like pain shit together, and
they can just do whatever. You know what I mean? If you give them one problem, they'll give you another. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Not like playing guard and like fucking trying to pity pat.
I don't think they believe in guard. I think the only time I ever saw Khabib get into a guard-like position was when he showed mercy to Justin Gaethje and put him into a triangle instead of that was
showed him mercy.
He showed like he was a merciful god, and let him go home to his family. But that's the only time I've ever seen Khabib on his back on purpose. So like I don't believe that they believe in God, and I don't believe in God in guard, and they definitely believe in God. That's for sure. But I just think that that wrestling style is crazy, and like nobody has found a solution to it. Maybe Benny will find a way to do it, like Benny Dariush. But like I don't know, man. It's tough, dude. The Dagestani dynasty is crazy. So I'm going to give it to Nurmagomedov on that one. But Dos Santos, if it stays on the feet, I can assume that he's definitely got better striking. But it doesn't take much. Moving on. I'm going to move on. I'm not going to lie to you. I know nothing about Kareem Silva or Ketlin Souza. I'm actually unsure how they got on the main card, and that might be disrespectful, but I'm going to just chalk it up to the cancellations, and they were just moving people up. Do you know anything about either of these two? Again, I didn't have time.
Kareem Silva, the only reason I know her is because she got a slick Darce last year.
Okay.
And that's the only just obviously because we have an inside thing with Darce chokes.
Yes, we do. We do.
So anytime I see a Darce, I seem to remember. But again, before that, I don't really know. Looks like
shout out to AJ. Shout out to AJ Del Masto because I Darce you every time that I see you. So I just want to throw that out there. Anyway,
I do not know much about her other than that, and then I know her opponent, Ketlin Souza, if I remember correctly.
This is a debuter. She's a debuter for sure.
I believe she is, and she was either like an Invicta or
Yeah, this is definitely it.
Let me see. Yeah,
it's a flyweight. I think she was a 25 champ.
Yeah. So yeah, she was the Invicta flyweight champ. Look like she's making a short notice debut.
Saving the card. She's got a 4-fight contract from that.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know much about him. I all due respect, ladies.
Yeah.
Good luck to you. Moving on. Honestly, I don't got for you. And you can just call me.
I'm gonna go Kareem Silva just off the fact that I know.
Yeah, I know her.
I know that Darce, and I know.
You know what it is. Looking at a picture.
Looking at Ketlin Souza's record, also, it seems like her losses are kind of, a couple of them are kind of tough, and the competition. I mean, she was 9-3 fighting someone who was 0-0-1.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, like women's fighting is such that like when I hear shit like that, it's what it is, dude. I've watched so many female teammates just unable to get fights. You know what I mean? And like,
Oh, I've
like after
definitely
a
seen it.
while,
You know, I
so like I can't blame her for taking whatever fight comes her way, especially at a buck 25 or even 115. You
yeah.
know, ladies outside of the UFC, it's hard to find a fight for them. You know what I mean? So like, I take that like the women's records as it stands right now. Now it's gotten better over time. You know what I mean? Like because remember when fucking women were first introduced to the
Yeah.
UFC,
I
their
mean,
records are
I'm
fucking
just talking
abysmal.
this was like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. Well then, that's not good. But even still, I'm gonna say that just for like any audience that watches this, females do find it harder to find
Oh yeah,
fights
absolutely.
in that genre, and I couldn't tell you why,
On the
honestly,
local scene
because
for sure.
yeah, maybe not in like the higher scenes, but like when you're trying to make it up. Not to say that female fighting makes it harder, because there's obviously advantages to having a thinner divisions. You know what I mean? You know, so it takes less time to get there, but at the same time, it's harder for females to find fights. So like you might see people that have championships that fight people like that, but that's mostly just because they're just trying to get a fight in. You know what I mean? And that's that. But that said, you're fighting at the highest level, fighting somebody with that record, pass. You know what I mean? Like pass. At that point, it's not going to help you. So we're going to go. I'm going to go with the other one just because, you know, honestly, if I'm keeping it in a buck, she's got a picture on the website, and that's pretty much. She's got a PFP. You know what I mean? So that's it. But moving on to the next one, and this one we're gonna. This is where it gets spicy.
Oh Lord.
This is where it gets spicy. Tim Elliott, number 11 in the flyweight division, goes up against Victor Altamirano, pardon me. And this is actually a really good fight. Before I get into like the spiciness of what's going on in Tim Elliott's personal life, because again, that shit is crazy.
Yeah.
This is a good fight. You know what I mean? This is a good fight. Victor fought on the same card that I fought Arichi Lang on. I think he was the fight right before me, and he came out with a victory. That was a barn burner. So this dude, I know for a fact, Buddy comes out to fight. Did he have a fight after that? I'm pretty sure he fought.
Yes.
Not long after that fight. Did he lose that one?
No.
I believe he got finished in that one.
Nope.
No.
He's lost. Or he's won 2 straight.
You want to? Okay, so you won that one. Okay, so pardon me. I apologize, Victor. He's a gamer. This kid's good. He's fast as shit. The only thing about Tim Elliott that's hard about him is that you can't prepare for Tim Elliott. You know what I mean?
Very strange.
He fights so weird, dude. And like, how are you going to emulate that in training? You know, it's definitely going to be a chaotic fight.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a. I don't know if he's got that fire coming in right now, but if I was
So speaking of that, so let's just before we go in and see where Tim Elliott's been at recently. Number 11, he's still got a number by his name. So like, you know, he's obviously ranked in the UFC. The flyweight division has blown up over the last few years, so it's not like the division's super thin anymore. You know what I mean? Like back when like the VJ days and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
I put up Tim Elliott MMA, and all the spicy shit came up first. Let's see. He's coming off of he's 7-10 inside the UFC, which is definitely an interesting.
Yeah.
He's coming off a win last year against Tagir Ulanbekov, and so he's 1-1 in his last 2. I got that one right, and he and he lost to Mateus Nicolau prior to that, so he's 1-1 in his last 2. Definitely a hard fight. It's going to be high paced because I know Victor's going to come forward. But to your point, is the mentality of Tim Elliott is so volatile at the moment. For those who haven't read, you know, if you're not in the know in the UFC or just in the MMA world, Tim Elliott recently came out with a tweet. It was a picture of what was his wife or is his current wife, and I believe his best friend / reverend / best man. And in the tweet, it says basically, and I'm paraphrasing, that in this picture, both his wife and his best friend had betrayed him by sleeping together on the night that they had gotten married, right?
Yeah.
Which is wow, dude. You know what I mean? And apparently this had gone on for months and months at a time. So So
yeah,
like,
that wasn't the first time.
that wasn't the first time that happened. You know what I mean? They had been going along for quite a while. Can I just say something?
Sure.
If you're gonna do that, whatever. You know what I mean? If you're gonna do that at the wedding,
For real, that's so foul.
You know what I mean?
That's so
like
vile.
at the wedding, you know,
That's
it's not,
so
not even
vile.
just that it's foul, but just like tactically. You know what I mean? Like just not a smart move at all. Like in any regard. Like what about that? Like neither of them were like, hey, my husband that I just met, that I just married, and his kid are like 10, 15 fucking feet away in the next room. Let's get it on. And both of them were like, yeah, this is it. You know, this is a good idea. We could just wait for like a week or you know what I mean? Like she just looked that damn good in the dress that you just married her in. You know what I mean? Like it's not even just the wife, the best friend. Who's more at fault?
I had to go back and read the tweet now, and I'm reading it. I'm like, oh,
like,
this
damn, bro. Like, god damn, how the fuck you did this, man?
So he
so dirty.
You want to see something gross? So this is my wife reading vows to my daughter on our wedding night. The guy holding the microphone was my friend, teammate my wife cheated on me with the same night. And they have had a relationship our entire marriage. Who is also fellow UFC fighter, Gina Mazzani, is the woman in question.
Yes.
Now, so, yeah.
I have met her. And to be fair, she's a very pretty lady. You know, I don't know Tim personally. But had I been a single man and I wasn't married and having a baby, I'd take a swing at it, you know, but that's
but also I still feel for the guy.
I don't know. You know what? Like there's so many layers to the betrayal here. Bro. There's so many layers to this betrayal. Do you know what I mean?
So
Be like not only he was your friend and your teammate. That's like a different level, man. When you bleed, sweat, and cry next to somebody, that should come with like a certain level of loyalty to that person. I would never betray my actual team. If I'll even get I left Las Vegas and I'm not part of that team anymore. But if one of them were offered to fight, I would say no immediately. I'd be like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because they're my friend. You fucked his wife, my man. On the wedding day. As you held the microphone as she read the vows to his kid, my man.
To his
daughter. Obviously she's wrong. That's not even debatable. She's automatically throw
wrong
that bitch
too.
Out. He might be more wrong, my man. He might be more wrong. I can't tell who's the bigger piece of shit on this one. You know what I mean? It's just one of those scenarios where you're like, y'all are fucking terrible people. There's no way because it's premeditated. If it was again, if had it been the first time, maybe because you've heard stories about. Had it been the first, they got drunk on the wedding night. You know, way too shit faced, and she got whatever. You know what I mean? But bro, that's fucking crazy, dude. That's just that you're you don't even respect that man's intelligence. That you thought that you would get away with that. You know. Shout out to Tim Elliott for even proposing.
I guess she did for a little bit, but fucking truth always comes out. I suppose
it's crazy. And on the wedding day, you bet you did not believe that shit. That's the most fucked up part. And I actually, you know what? I take that last part back. The most fucked up part actually is the wife who was in a relationship with this guy, looking into his daughter's eyes. That girl
and being like, "I'm gonna fuck your dad's friend later."
That girl is this tall. And you looked that little girl in the face and said, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of your dad. And then you went and sucked some dick in the fucking bathroom. Do you know what I mean? Oh, my God. People are terrible. I feel for Tim Elliott. But it just, so back to the original point.
But also.
How is he going to, you know what I mean? Does that light a fire under your ass? Or does that fucking destroy you?
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? How do you enter a competition?
Against a tough
guy. It could go
guy.
either way. It's not a pick 'em either, dude. This is a fucking tough fight, bro. Yeah, and if you're not there,
tough guy.
Oh, and he's got a number next to his name.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? So Buddy beats him. He's out the top 15. He's only number 11. Not to say that that's not an accomplishment.
Yeah,
but if he loses this, it's very possible that Victor takes that 11 from him. So now you took marriage, you took, that whole thing, the betrayal, and then you lose that rank next to your name, bro. If he loses that 7-0, he's 7-11 in his UFC career, and he's already been cut once.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean? Like, you understand like the layers of how shitty this fucking is for him? That's nuts. I don't get it. I don't know if I would be able to do that. If I keep it a buck, I would probably go to jail. I don't know how he just kept it to a tweet. I really don't. You would have seen me on Channel 7 News. Easy bread. But as far as the fight goes, let's break it down. Sorry, Tim. Your wife sucks.
It's definitely a whore.
You should definitely, and you know what? I am not here to condone any type of random, stupid violence, but punch that motherfucker in his face as hard as you can.
I will condone
as
a little
many
bit of
times
violence.
as you can.
Yeah, definitely.
That. Absolutely. And you know why? Because it involved your fucking kid. And like, you made my kid part of this. And now I'm going to fucking end you. So like, if I hear that you collapse this dude's bridge of his nose, you know what I mean?
I'm not even going to
I think the world will look the other way, bro.
Yeah.
Honestly, because that shit's crazy. I couldn't imagine that type of fucking mental strife. Given that, how do you see the fight playing out? In the best case of scenarios. Best case scenario, that all that shit didn't happen. Skill for skill.
Even then, I still don't have Tim Elliott winning this fight, unfortunately. For him.
Even in like the best of terms. Because again, this guy did. Hey, remember, he gave Mighty Mouse quite a run for his money. So it's Elliott's one of those dudes that could show up or not. You know what I mean? Like if he shows up, he's weird to prepare for.
I feel like he really hasn't shown up much since then.
Fair enough. That was his last great fight.
That was, 6 years ago, probably.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't see any way, just on paper, that he wins this fight, to be completely honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Victor is definitely a better striker. I don't know how I know that Tim has a wrestling background.
Yeah.
But I will say that Victor's very good at scrambling. He's got a good scramble.
He's got a lot of subs on his record too.
He does. His last fight was what? Decision? Because the one before that was a finish. I think it was a TKO though.
No. I think it was ground and pound. Yep.
Yep, it was
before that. His last fight was a decision. His last loss before that was a split, but then he, aside from what seems to be a rear naked choke loss on the regional scene to a 14-2 guy when he was 6-0, which is nothing to slouch at. I mean, he's looked pretty good. I have seen his 2 UFC fights recently. And I believe I watched, he did fight Carlos Candelario on Contender Series.
He did fight Carlos Candelario.
I remember watching the fight, but I don't really have a crazy recollection of it. But just knowing what Tim's looked like recently, and in the worst case, in the best case scenario, this fucking fueled him to just go out there and just be the best him, or it could have mentally destroyed him and really made that last part of camp a struggle. It's with an emotional dump like that, an emotional.
I hope he goes full like that, dude.
I hope he does too.
Straight dark side of the force on this one.
If I gotta break it down and just,
you know what I mean? Anakin choking Padme on Mustafar, bro. Just straight up. You turned her against me. You know what I mean? Like just straight up.
I don't disagree. But
Death Star
also,
grip. I don't know which.
If I take that out,
because I'm just my heart says Tim Elliott because I feel for him, but my mind says Victor. I'm gonna go with Victor as the win. I do hope that Tim Elliott pulls it up because I do feel like there's more at stake for him as well. Because Victor's won twice, so if he loses, he can afford to lose against the number 11 guy in his third fight, and you know what I mean, and still salvage it or even have a negotiable
and you gotta
contract.
Think too. Tim was a Glory MMA guy too.
Was he? I forgot about that. Oh shit, Jesus!
So he's going through it right now.
He really is, dude. Oh, you're right. He was a Kraus guy too. God. Damn, dude, that's crazy. He has just had the shittiest year, dude.
Yeah.
He's got no coach, no team. His wife is sucking dick at his wedding. Oh, my God, dude. That is terrible. Oh, my God. Tim Elliott, feel better. You know what I mean? Fucking Jesus. Get a therapist. for sure. Moving on.
Maybe
Victor. You got Victor?
Yeah, I got Victor.
Victor. Tim Elliott is the Kuwabara of MMA. Moving on. Anyway. All right. So we got 3 more fights left on the card. This one is actually cool. I actually like this one. Jared Gordon versus the OG Jim Miller.
Jim Miller. Yes.
This is a cool fight, I think, because I think Jared Gordon and him match up. They're kind of similarly. I'm definitely going to give, obviously, the sub game to Jim. But I think this is a similar style matchup in that they're both pretty well rounded. You know, I wouldn't say that Jared's really just kind of like a jack of all trades kind of guy. I wouldn't call him like a specialist anywhere. Jim's definitely better on the ground, but you know, I'm excited to see Jared. I want Jared to win. It's hard to vote against Jim Miller. You know what I mean? Because he's Jim Miller. But like,
because he's
Jim Miller. You know, he's been around. He's, you know, it's kind of like Andre. It's hard to vote against him because like we've been around forever. But damn, Jared needs a win, bro. You know what I mean? Like I feel so bad for the cat.
But I mean, he
looked, bro. That Bobby Green fight was
Bobby Green shit. It was, but that I mean, he got like flashed and like knocked out from that clash of heads, and that was
and then got
that was only like a month ago. What, like a little over
not long ago at all. No, I don't think it was more than a month ago.
I don't know if I like a guy like Jim Miller for him to come off of. I mean, I'm not gonna say that like that was equivalent to like someone getting knocked out from like a right hook, but also I don't know how much. I don't know if he was like knocked out really cold. I don't know how much trauma he had.
He got up pretty quick. If you look at the clip, even after Bobby kind of follows up with a couple shots, he stands up kind of fast.
That's another one. I'm having like a hazy recollection of it off the top, but I did remember that he had that.
You're a Bobby Green fan, right? You're a Bobby Green fan.
I mean, Bobby Green's cool. Yeah, I like Bobby. I wouldn't say
like, is that you or Clint? Clint loves Bobby Green.
Clint loves him, yeah. I mean, I'm cool.
So
I fuck
for
with
those
him.
at home, we have a friend his name is Rob, but we call him Clint after Clint Eastwood because he's the oldest fucking 32-year-old in the entire fucking planet. So he loves Bobby Green. So maybe I should ask him this, but bro, I'm sorry. I love the swag. I actually like how Bobby fights. That shit was bullshit. You're not gonna tell me that was a forward elbow. No, you're not. You're just not. And I've watched the clip a couple of times, even the lead up to that, dude. It looked to me like Bobby was getting touched up. Jared was winning getting the better of those exchanges, and he threw his head forward. Nobody leads an elbow with their fucking head. Nobody. Your elbow, when you come forward, literally goes in front of your line, in front of your forehead. When we're taught it, it's not we do like how he from this angle went like that forward with his fucking head. You're taught to go like this. It's literally covering my nose, dude.
Yeah.
This is a forward elbow. There should have never been any contact head to head here. Even if we both just clash like this, my forearm should have hit you, right? Bobby's if you watch the replay, his whole hand was fucking over here as he launches forward. You know what I mean? Like, that whole thing was crazy. So I just feel for Jared because he shouldn't have, like, he should have beat Patty. He at least looked good against Bobby. You know what I mean? So dude just keeps getting fucked left and right. And like, as much as we're like, oh, he did well. Yeah, well, when contract negotiations come back up for this guy, that shit's going to come back up. It's not going to matter like the circumstances as to how that happened. Yeah. What they're going to look at is you lost one, you had a no contest, you won one. Why should we give you more money? You know what I mean? Like, that's what's going to happen. So like, I just want the guy to get a win just because like he deserves it. He looks like he's done it. It's hard to go against Jim Miller, but you know, we've got a bunch of guys on here that they're on their way out. You know what I mean? And we got to start seeing new guys get more.
Yeah.
Although Jared's not new, I would say.
I mean, yeah, not new, but he's a lot younger in his
newer star
career, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to be older than fucking Jim Miller as far as fights.
But with that being said, I got Jim Miller.
Yeah? You got Jim on this one? I think so too. Well, I mean, I didn't watch Jim's last fight, so I didn't really get to see how he looked because Jim Miller's like Clay Guida. They kind of look the same, even though Clay kind of looked bad in his last one. But not that they look the same. That I mean that they perform. You know what I mean? Like Jim Miller and Joe Lozon. You know what I mean? Joey's my boy. Joey's at like a, you know what I mean? He consistently was like the same way every way. You know, love Jim. Hard pick. I would probably go Jim. I'd probably go Jim too.
I'm
if
just
it
going.
Touches the ground.
I think I'm going against the grain with saying Jim, and maybe I'm a bit of a fan of his as well. He's always been kind of an exciting guy that I've enjoyed watching. So
I still love the Lozon in his fight. I still love that first fight. It's a classic. You know what I mean? Like if you were going to introduce somebody to MMA, you know, I put that fight on there. You could watch that fight for one that's not even a superstar. You know what I mean? If you're not trying to get a superstar fight, Joe Lozon, Jim Miller. That shit was a barn burner. Any two people that are covered in blood and at the end of their fight are just literally laying on top of each other, just sitting there catching their breath. That shit is legendary.
Robbie Rory.
That's who honestly, if I'm going to introduce somebody to MMA,
that's like everybody's go-to.
That's the one, bro.
See a bloodbath? That's
the one. But Jim Miller. But the point being, Jim Miller can be a technical guy, or he can do the dog fight. You know, like he can make it a war. And maybe not so much as he's gotten older, but you know, nostalgia is just going to make me go Jim Miller here. Not a bad bet. I wouldn't. Again, that's another fight that I really wouldn't bet on. You know what I mean?
That's just something I just
are about equal.
I don't know that head clash and that stuff happening so recently kind of has me weary.
Do you know what? Do you know what, dude? And nothing against Jared, because when I fought AQ, he came to my hotel room. He was in the same like hallway they put us in, and he knocked on my door, and he was very reassuring. He's like, "Hey, man, I thought you won. We all around here, everybody thought you won. You know, you should do this." He was really, really just a really nice guy and gave me advice. And like I remember he had said something in an interview, and I was like, man, I don't really get what you mean by that. And he said that he wasn't fulfilled by MMA, like didn't fulfill him. You know, like it wasn't something that like brought him joy. If anything, it brought him stress. And so I asked him, like, hey, man, then, you know, that was interesting that you said that, you know, and like I was like, what do you mean by that? Because I don't really get it. So why do you do this if it doesn't fulfill you in any way? And he's like, well, this pays my bills, man. I'm good at it. But like my wife fulfills me, my, you know what I mean? Like my family, this time I spend with people that actually give a shit about me and not online with people that tell me I suck all the time. So Jared's just like a guy that like getting to know him over like a week. He's just a really cool dude. You know what I mean? It's like one of those guys that you meet, you're like, damn, I really just don't want this guy to lose just because he seems like a really down-to-earth, level-headed dude that's very objective about himself and like his career. Like he knows he's not going to be like a world killer. Like he knows he's not going to make millions and millions based like Conor money or O'Malley money.
Yeah.
But like he knows where he stands. He's cool with being middle of the pack. And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe coming out of my mouth that doesn't seem good, but having met him, it's kind of like just a guy that you know, you're like, damn, I just want him to do well. You know what I mean? Like, because he gave me some advice, and so like that's why it's hard for me to pick.
That's cool, man.
You know. But anyway, Jim Miller, nostalgia. Jared Gordon. Do you think it goes all three?
It could. I mean, I don't see why not.
I'm going to go with what you said and say no because of recent.
Yeah, I mean, again, it all depends. I don't think that it's going to last all three.
Yeah.
If you had to say if it's going to be a decision or a finish, I'd probably likely go with finish.
I'm going to go armbar Jim Miller's second round.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it.
So, yeah, that's my prediction for that. All right, 2 more fights. And who would have thought we would be talking about this fucking guy in a co-main event of any fight night ever? And that's goddamn Bruce Leroy, baby.
My God.
Alex Caceres. Another thing that I didn't think I would ever see about him is he's got a number next to his name.
Yeah, he's
number
like
15.
Crept around there in that 10 to 15 range several times.
He's one of those guys that's just like, he could be fucking
exciting.
Terrible, or he could literally kill anybody on this list. Yeah. Now, of late, he has looked way more consistent.
He's like the male, like Angela Hill, like
oof, too soon.
But I mean, you get what I'm in the sense of like.
If he shows up
on her best day, like Angela Hill can fucking go, bro. Like she
absolutely.
can
She's a
fight.
Dude, what she did, I'm still amazed that she beat Loopy. I'm still amazed that she beat.
Yeah, I mean, she's beat
and the way
a
that she
bunch
did
of
it.
people that like everybody was like, she's gonna get fucking slaughtered. Like
Slaughtered.
kind of, you know, and like another one was like Roxy, like you know, like Roxy, like some, you know, they would match up Roxy with people, and they're like, yeah, this is a little stepping stone for them. And then Roxy comes out like, oh yeah, you fucking think so? All right.
Dude, she beat. Oh, that was crazy. I didn't expect that, dude. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm Roxy's friend, if I'm honest, and I was like, damn, dude, I did not expect her to beat Macy.
Yeah.
Or Casey.
Barbara.
You know what I mean? Like she did really well, but you're right. And
but like at his best, he is so good and he is so exciting to watch.
And he's going up against Daniel Pineda, who I've watched recently. I like Daniel Pineda.
Also, he's got some boom boom.
He does, but he actually has 19 wins by submission. So 19 of his 28 wins are subs. He's only got 3 first round finishes, but this guy's a finisher. You know what I mean? Yeah. Very well rounded, obviously. Anybody that's got almost double digits, and he's got a double in finishes almost. You know what I mean? So, hard press. This guy doesn't. And this is something to say. Is this featherweight? Or is this?
Yep.
Featherweight.
Yep.
This just says something about 45 and 35, dude.
Yeah.
Like this. Daniel Pineda has what's he coming off of real quick? Is he on a streak or is he coming off of?
He's coming off of a win. Did a couple grappling events in between
I know that
and the eye poke against Touchy Feely.
Yep, that's what it was. That was his last fight, was the Touchy Feely eye poke. Right?
Yeah, and then he had a win a couple months back on a fight night card.
Okay, so you know, like just to say that, like this type of guy isn't even ranked.
They're kind of similar in the sense of like on his best night, like Pineda is like
good, man.
Like, really good, but like when he's not, he's just not.
Just too inconsistent.
Yeah, and I mean, recently he's had a lot of weird stuff happening with his, his fights and contests and.
So he's 5-5 in the UFC. So this will be he's 5-5-1 in the UFC. 1-4 in Bellator, which is interesting that he has a losing record to that. But
this is his second stint in the UFC.
Yeah, so he's battling, a 500 record essentially. He has had a few. He's had draws with decisions. Pardon me. And his last loss was to Cub Swanson.
Yep.
Jesus, Cubby. So he hasn't been fighting. He hasn't been super active. As far as this one goes, like, I really like Alex Caceres recently.
Yeah.
But again, he's been fighting at 35 and 45, like back and forth, I believe. So, 45 Caceres, again, he's ranked. So, like, I don't know, because I have watched his 35 performances, and he has looked great as of late. You know what I mean? But I don't know how he'll handle the size differential.
No, he's fine. I mean, he's been fine. I don't even remember him fighting much at 30. I mean, his 35.
He fought 35, didn't he?
He did, but I think it was probably a while back. Probably been a couple.
You're looking at it right now. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. Yeah, I mean, it's been
because
I mean, he fought Yair in 2016.
You're right. Oh, damn.
I mean, it's been a while, bro. It's
motherfucker has fought. Yair fought at 35.
No, he fought Yair at 45.
Oh, 45. I'm sitting here like, what the fuck?
But he did fight at 35 in his UFC career.
Last one was, he did lose to Pat Sabatini. I did watch that. Oh, that was a grappling thing. But his last win was against Julian Erosa with a head kick. So, I mean, shit. That's a good win. I like Julian Erosa. Maybe I'm a little bit biased there because I love him. But you're right. He has been fighting at 45. For a good minute. Chase Hooper, Stephen P. Yeah, all 45. You're right. Yeah, Stephen Peterson is a 45.
Yeah.
So I'm mistaken, but what I'm saying is that he's been better of late.
Yeah.
From the performances I've seen, even if he was lost, particularly. So I'm gonna go with Caceres, just because you know what, I don't know. Fuck it, I'm gonna go against the grain. I'll go against Pineda here. He's got more ways to win, I think. I don't know how good Caceres is on the ground. Really, not that from the experience that I've watched him with. I don't think that he's not like a sub guy. Like, you don't put him on the ground and you're afraid of his guard. You know what I mean? I think
you just
Pineda
just
definitely
don't
is.
want him to get your back, really, with Alex.
You don't want anybody to get your fucking back.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, so I'm gonna go with Pineda. You know what I mean? 28 finishes, and like I said, he's a double as far as finishing goes.
yeah.
You know, NBA Finals. Go Celtics.
Yeah.
It still hurts, but I'm gonna go with Daniel Pineda here in the co-main event. Definitely a good fight, even, but a fight of two very inconsistent people, which I find. Again, you know, I get the reason for like placements and certain but co-main events and main events. Main event is fine. It's got nothing wrong with it. I actually love this main event. I'm actually really excited that this is a free card. But this co-main confuses me a little bit, and I'm not sure I quite like it. But in this particular spot, you know what I mean.
Right.
You have Andrei Arlovski, who's you know what I mean. You got to move some shit around and make that not the main event. You know what I mean, like or the co-main event. But that's just me. I'm gonna go with Pineda. How do you feel?
I'm gonna go with Bruce Leroy. I'm gonna go with Alex.
All right. I like that.
I like if Alex is at his best, then he wins that fight. Is he gonna be at his best? That's a flip.
Hit or miss, baby. That's a coin toss.
But I like him when he's at his best, and he's another guy really exciting. Really always enjoyed watching him, and I'm hoping for a win for him. So I'm gonna go with Alex.
Good. All right. Moving on. Final one of the night. All right, and we'll get out of your hair. Number 3 versus number 7. Kai Kara France versus Amir Albazi. This one's a good one. Obviously, Kai Kara France, I thought that he was winning his fight against Moreno until the liver kick happened. And that's my own personal opinion. I thought he looked really, really good in his title fight against Moreno. Pardon me. Amir has looked fantastic of late. You know, this guy has definitely been on the rise for quite a while. He's very intense, very confident in himself, to a fault almost. He says some crazy stuff. I've been in the PI with him. 67% takedown defense. Very, very difficult to get this guy down. Throws a lot of strikes per minute, 3-4 strikes, or lands 3-4 strikes a minute. And he lands almost just about 2.5, 3 takedowns a fight. His average fight time is only 9 minutes, so it's very, very. He doesn't often make it to decision. How do we see this one going? This is very even. I'm hard pressed to pick against Amir because he has been very good of late. I love Kai as well. So
yeah, I really like Kai too. This is a toughie.
It's a tough fight. It's for sure a great main event. It's a great 25 matchup of 2 top 10 guys. It also shows you just how far 25 has come. You know what I mean? Because when it first got introduced, remember obviously the inaugural tournament, you had DJ and it was DJ and Henry, and those were the 2 guys that you had that really carried it. And now you have number 3 and number 7, and the top 10 of 125 actually has 10 fighters that are fucking great. So I think that 25 has just come a long way from where it started, because it's one of the more exciting divisions there is now, even with a championship that's happened 4 times the same way. So my heart says Kai here. Amir just beat Costa in December, and then he beat Figgy's brother in the first round in the last one. And I mean, Figgy's brother does what Figgy's brother does, and he came out real strong and then just fucking died 3 minutes in. He did get the KO against Costa. He's just looked really good. I'm hard pressed to pick against him. Yeah. Kai coming off that hard lock, but how long was Kai's streak prior?
I mean, he had three wins prior, all within a year of each other.
So he is
knocked out Cody.
Yep. Oh, he did knock out fucking Cody cold. Yeah. That's another one. Was that his last fight, Cody? No. His last fight was Moreno. He beat Askarov, another guy that he beat to get the title fight. I don't know. I think Kai's just got that bang bang in his hands. Not that Amir can't finish, because he definitely does. But I don't know. I think that Kai's just a little smoother. I think Amir's super rigid. You know, like just a real
Yeah.
tight kind of guy.
I don't know. I mean,
Let's see what the odds say, and then they could be wrong again. You could take it for whatever you will. But what they have it as, it was always this. These odds shouldn't be different.
Nah,
If I'm honest, this odds for this fight shouldn't be any different than anything. Who is the favorite?
it's a pick 'em.
Is it?
Yeah, rightfully so.
110, 110. Shit. Even the odds
The thing is, like, Amir's. I mean, he's an extreme couture guy, I believe.
No, he's not. He's a Dewey Cooper guy.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Dewey does some striking there, but he runs his own gym. I think it's called Black Cobra, because I know that him and O'Day Osborne are teammates, and they align with Dewey, as far as I know. I know that they go occasionally to Extreme, though.
Gotcha.
Oh, dude, everything about them is identical.
Yeah,
Everything about them is identical. They're both fucking 5'4", 5'5". 68-inch reach for Amir, 69-inch reach for Kai. When it's an inch, it really doesn't fucking matter. And they make up for it. Amir's got longer legs. You know what I mean? So, like, it's hard to pick this one because they're both pretty violent. They're both good. They're both good finishers. Good tacticians, and they have good teams. I think it might come down to who makes better adjustments, because like who's got the better coaching staff or the better corner, and who's got a better game plan here. Because on paper, it seems like two guys that are very well rounded that can
I'm
do pretty much anything anywhere.
I'm gonna go with Amir.
Amir?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna just stick with my gut and go Kai here. Mostly, honestly, not that I'm not a fan of Amir. Sometimes Amir talk, and I'm not sure that he thought about it before he said stuff. You know what I mean? You should, and that's not like anything about his skill level, but like I've done when I was in the PI and we were doing PT together and shit.
Yeah.
He would say shit to even like not me particularly, like he never said anything mean to me or like fucking stupid, but he would say shit to like Heather or Tara, the two like main physical therapists there, if I may. They run the show, and you just look at him, you're like read the room, my guy. God damn, Jesus Christ. But that's really not a basis in his skill level. He's obviously very good. I'm going to go with Kai just because I think that he was on Moreno's level that night. You know what I mean? Like that night, he was absolutely championship caliber. He definitely proved it. And then that kick changed things. Because again, I mean, and we could watch it again, but I do think that he was beating Moreno up until that kick. You know what I mean? Up until he got liver kicked. So I'm going to go with that. That's just my inkling. Amir's on the rise. I do believe so. But either of them aren't going to lose a ton of stock. I think if anything, Kai loses, he loses his top 5 spot.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say Amir slips into the top 5.
They'll just switch. Maybe Amir gets 5 because I've never seen that. A jump 4 spots is crazy.
Yeah, but maybe then again, flyweight. Who knows?
No, but like I said, flyweight's deeper now. You actually have a top 15. There's actually 15. Like before, there was fucking 8 fighters in the top 10. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like, I think it's going to get deeper, and I think that the smaller divisions are just going to have, because most people aren't fucking 6'2", so you're going to see a lot more of those smaller guys come up. I'm going to go Kai here in the main event. I think it's going to be a good fight. I don't see it going all 5. I see it ending in the inside.
That I don't see.
I don't see it going 5. No. But I think Amir is correct in saying that whoever wins this fight is probably up for the title shot, or it's him. It's either that or Royval.
Yeah, Pantoja, bro.
Well, Pantoja's already fighting for the belt.
Yeah.
He's already scheduled. I mean, like, who would fight the winner of that fight?
Oh, okay.
You get what I'm saying? Like, if this is like who's on deck for the winner of that. Yeah. And Royval's made a case for a minute, but him and Amir have been kind of chirping back and forth about who should get the fight should they win. And I personally would rather see Royval fight.
Royval fought. It's very possible. He beat Kai as well.
So, you know what I mean? I don't really know. I would prefer to see Roy Val fight because I think that guy is fucking chaotic as hell and super entertaining. Not that I don't like to watch Amir fight, but just my personal preference. But yeah, it's Amir could be correct in saying that whoever does win this fight could get the next crack at either Pantoja or Moreno. So I'm going to go Kai here. You obviously are going Amir. I would say third round. That's probably about as far as it goes, but it will be a very entertaining fight all the way through. All right. So that is pretty much it for the fight card. We've been on here for about an hour and a half now, so we'll probably wrap it up. Thanks for joining us this week. We're going to try and, these podcasts are going to get a little bit longer. I'm actually working on some guests for us. We have a few in a few weeks in June, mostly. We'll have a couple of LFA guys, a couple LFA middleweight contender. It's going to be fighting in, I believe, June 19th, I believe, is the LFA card. And that day I could be wrong there. Don't quote me, but we're going to have one of the fighters in the main event on there. So we're still working on everything and getting guests and things like that. But we're definitely going to be having more different topics. And on weeks that we don't have fights, be expecting that we'll probably do what we did in the first 20 minutes of the podcast today and just talk about nerd shit and shit that we like to talk about mostly. Just because it's a good time and we can talk about it forever. We can talk about Star Wars, anime, all of these things just as long as we did today. So just expect that. There's going to be a lot of different content and interviews and speculation. And we want to hear from you guys. What can we do? What do you guys want to hear about? What are the topics that you'd like to see? If you're, please shout it out. We'll go over that. If you have versus battles, if you have matchups that you think you want to listen to, or maybe even just like concepts in MMA or whatever you have. There's judging. I've gone off about judging and how poor it is recently, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better. Things like that. So we want to hear from you guys. Please, in the comments, smash the like button and subscribe. It definitely helps us out. The more viewers we get, the more we know we're not just talking to ourselves on a camera, which would be great. But just let us know what you guys are looking for and what we can do to make the podcast better. Stay tuned for more guests and breakdowns, and obviously as much nerdy shit as you could possibly handle coming forward. I'm Jay the Joker Perrin here, your host with my co-host, Ant Dowling. What? You got something? What?
No.
You were going to say your name? That's what it was?
Yes.
Say his name. And my co-host? Ant. All right. We're here. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same back channel. Behave, everybody. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. And make sure you tip your waiter. All right. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Later.